Welcome back to Fight Network. Cody Safdie here, now joined on the line by a very hot MMA prospect. It's Chris Honeycutt, former NCAA Division I All-American turned MMA standout. Chris, thanks for jumping by the show today.
How you doing? Doing good.
You know, it's a real hot time right now for American Kickboxing Academy. It seems like, Luke Rockhold defending his belt, Cain Velasquez getting ready for UFC 200, Daniel Cormier getting ready, Sean Bunch always in the gym, bunch of good guys. You yourself spending some time at AKA as well. How much of a gym feel is it just getting all these guys prepared for the same night, yourself included?
Oh, it's good. I mean, just the atmosphere in the gym is at its highest. You know, everyone's got their own thing going on. They got their own fights that they're training for, so they're at the best of their game, as well as myself. And we have two new additions to the Fresno or Dethrone's fight team. We have Ed Ruth and Duran Wynn. I mean, they're two Olympic caliber wrestlers that are right off the blocks, coming in and learning fast. And we took a couple road trips down there, and I'm at Dethrone most of the time. I go down to American Kickboxing Academy for like 2 or 3 days within a week. I want to say, just on average, maybe like once a month.
Well, it does make complete sense because, you're an ultra-competitive guy, and, in your wrestling career, you used to breaking guys. A standout wrestling career in college as well as high school. So for a very long time, I believe you started wrestling at like 4 years old. You've broken many of men in your lifetime. Now you get into a room with guys like Ed Ruth where it's like, you know what? I probably can't break this guy, nor can he break me, but you're just pushing yourself to get better every single day. And wrestling's given you so much. But as you even talk about, you're now able to land some combinations on these guys. You've added a lot to your arsenal. You're not just a one-dimensional wrestler like maybe when you first came into the sport. And now you kind of been working those hands as well. You've also been working, a little bit of Taekwondo in the past, and that just kind of adds to the fluidity. So even though you're a way better wrestler than Mikkel Parlo, do you also see other areas that you can outshine him and will try to outshine him in?
Yes. In the later rounds, I learned my lesson against Paul Bradley that it's not the first minute of the rounds not to go out and try out your new tricks. It's when the hands are dropped a little bit and they're huffing and puffing a little bit.
Now, speaking of that Paul Bradley fight, obviously you guys got some history having faced each other twice in professional MMA, but it just really seemed like there's an aura of unfinished business. Like it's not the end of the chapter. Is that a fight that you're looking to get back, say, in the near future, or are you okay just kind of going down your separate path right now, venturing into the middleweight division for a little bit, and if it happens down the road, it happens down the road?
Yeah, if it happens, it happens. By all means, I wouldn't mind fighting him again. I would actually kind of enjoy it a little bit. Just because you're right, there is a little bit of unfinished business there. But at the same time, if they would offer me a fight with someone or fight Paul, and I could fight anyone else 1 month before fighting Paul, I'd pick that fight just because it's sooner.
Yeah.
But I would pick Paul if it was 1 month sooner than anyone else. I'm in this sport to be the best and to win fights, and the fighting career is not that long. So, as little as 1 month sounds, if I'm fight someone 1 month sooner, that means I'll be that 1 month closer to the one after. So I'm just looking to put down W's as fast as I can and, build that record as high as I can get and, try to secure a financial stability for when that time comes and I do have to hang it up.
And, a part of kind of adding to your career longevity in terms of, not having to call it a day. And as well as, if you're offered a fight and it's a month sooner, or if you're offered a fight on short notice, being able to take these fights is not having to cut a drastic amount of weight. So this will actually mark your return to the 185-pound division. You started your MMA career actually as a middleweight, but then since signing with Bellator, have kind of made that run at welterweight. Does this signify a new chapter in your career for Chris Honeycutt? Or is this basically, I'm okay with taking fights at both. I want to stay active. I want to take the fights that make sense. And I want to set up, as you mentioned, sustainability for you financially?
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that I'm to stay active. I'm willing to fight at both, but it I don't know if like I said, this is my first fight back. I started off at the 185-pound division because I was right out of college. I was humongous. You go back and watch some wrestling videos, you'll see how big I was. It took me 3 years to kind of change the physique of my body from a pure wrestler to a wrestler slash MMA, because even MMA is, it's like the catch between boxing and wrestling. Boxers wouldn't be good wrestlers because it's not the way that their bodies are shaped. A wrestlers has to go 7 minutes. They want big muscles. They want to be really really strong because they don't have to go for that length of time. And my first 3 years at middleweight were basically just keeping me busy, and so I can learn to be a better fighter and all that as I was shaping myself to make the welterweight division. I planned to be in welterweight when I first started fighting. When I got to a big show like Bellator, and I figured I'd be here a little longer. And maybe I still am. I don't know. We'll see how it translates against Mikkel Parlo, obviously. But I look forward to getting in there and making that statement. I mean, he's not just an average middleweight. He's 13-2, and he knocked out a lot of people. So, me taking him down, breaking his will, and then getting a technical knockout, or even just beating him up for 15 minutes because he's a tough dude. He might not break, but which I believe I will and can. But it's a good statement if I do stay at middleweight. It's a good statement to make.
Well, obviously, being at middleweight, you kind of can enjoy things a little differently. You can eat a little bit more. You can lift weights a little bit more. You can kind of enjoy some different things that obviously you are not at your liberty when you're trying to make 170 pounds. But now that you are at 185, coming into this fight, a little ways out now, but still coming up rapidly. Well, what's your normal walk-around weight now that you're at middleweight as opposed to when you were down to 170? Is it that much of a difference, or you kind of walk around at 185, 190?
No, you tell me. I go to now I'm going a little lighter. I'm about 210.
Wow. So back like when you were wrestling.
Yeah, when I was wrestling, I was about 210. Yeah, I wake up right around like 203 or so now, and then just because a couple weeks ago I was getting up there, and I haven't lifted weights in years as far as like going to the gym like for the sole purpose of lifting weights. So now that I actually did that a few times, my body responded very quickly to getting big again. So, I'm confident because this is kind of a short notice on the moving from the 170. Because I was, after my last fight, I was under the impression and looking for opponent at 170 anyways. So I took my 2 or 3 days off or whatever after my last fight, and then I was back on the the weight management and keep myself really lean and healthy. Where now I eat steak all the time.
Well, you're a master weight cutter as well. You wrestled your whole life. You know what it takes to get down to the weight. You have not missed weight, certainly in your professional MMA career. And I notice whenever you hit the scale, especially as a welterweight, it's like 171 right on the money. If it's not 171 on the money, it's like 170.6. You're always really dialed in with the weight cut. Now we see some of these laws, some of these rules, some of these regulations changing a little bit on trying to get fighters to cut less weight. But it's a tool for you, being that you know how to do it so well, and some of these other guys are kind of exhausting themselves to do that. Would you prefer that everybody kind of competes at a weight class up? All the welterweights should be fighting at 185, such as you're doing this fight? Or do you think, you know what, weight cutting is an advantage to me? I like going down and being that bigger guy and having that.
Well, from a health standpoint, I suggest anyone that doesn't know what they're doing to just fight at their weight that they normally are. But, it's kind of a disadvantage for some fighters because if you know what you're doing and you know how to do it and you've been doing it your whole life, then I don't see what's wrong with it. The whole new rules that they're doing for the weight cutting, I'm not really against it, but at the same time, it's kind of like, not everyone is an idiot. Not everyone has these. It's for the health of the fighters, and I get it, and that makes perfect sense. But not every fighter is like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take a fight at 170 or 145, and on Tuesday I'm 37 pounds over, and don't worry about it. It's going to be a hard cut. It's like, no, that's not a hard cut. That's risking your life right there.
Yeah.
Where there are times where if I don't have a fight, and say I wasn't in a fight camp now, and I can't foresee myself fighting in the next 8 months or so, yeah, I'm going to be 30, 36, maybe even close to 40 pounds over it sometimes. But when I get the fight, you do it the right way. You gotta burn the calories. You gotta eat less calories. The food that goes in your body needs to be all good foods. like the lean chicken, none of the sodium-filled dressings and all that, and fruits is your natural source of sugars, and vegetables actually help your body utilize nutrition better. So you got to stay obviously high on your vegetables and all that, and and at the end of the day, there is a little bit of an actual cut in itself, and for people to try to make the cut in just 4 or 5 days is almost ruining it for the people that do it the right way. So as far as me suggesting to anyone, it's if you don't have a nutritionist helping you do it that knows what he's doing and knows what that is live the part. Not just any nutritionist knows what they're doing either, because it's not by textbook healthy in the first place to be losing that kind of. I think they say by textbook you're only supposed to lose like 2 or 3 pounds a week for an overweight person, let alone a professional athlete. I'm sure it becomes smaller, but I feel like cutting weight's an advantage for me, and I can fight it either way. I'm not afraid to fight anyone. I just want to stay active and keep getting paychecks, because the life of a fighter is not really that long, and I'm in the prime of my life as far. I'm going to be 28 in July, so I'm like at the pinnacle point of my athletic ability. So I would like to be as active as I possibly can for at least the next 2, 3, 4 years, just because my body's able to handle it.
Well, yeah, you're looking in fantastic shape right now. You're a guy that's competed in the national tournament, NCAA Division I, getting multiple opponents, multiple shapes and sizes, guys you might never have heard of. It happens. It's part of the game for wrestling. And MMA, you're making the transition over almost beautifully, man. Obviously there's the one setback with Paul Bradley, but every time we see you in there, including your last fight with Matt Secor, you are making improvements. Always a pleasure to watch you, Chris Honeycutt. If you want to see him back in action, June 17th at Bellator 156, back in action, taking on Mikkel Parlo on the main card of Bellator 156. And once again, thanks for stopping by. It was a great interview, great hearing your thoughts on it, and I wish you the best of luck, Chris.
Awesome. Thank you so much.